Hi, good morning. This is a project for my Coursera project, Human Factors in AI. So I am interested in, this is the problem statement. I work as a project management in a software project, and in pretty much every work that I have worked over my entire career, we have a lot of bugs, tickets, issues, failures, whatever you call them. But we cannot predict why we are getting these issues and how much time we are spending on fixing these issues and failures and bugs. This has become so normal in both in the companies that I have worked with that it is not on anybody's radar anymore. But this is a lot of effort lost. I want to create a model using existing project data, for example, size of the team, the number of locations, the number of requirements, time spent on feature development, time spent on fixing bugs and issues, tools chain used, whether certain steps were used. For example, was the code reviewed, were the reviewed bugs issues fixed, was unit tests run, were they fixed, was static code analysis done, were those issues fixed, what is the experience of the team, and many more to predict how much we will spend on fixing bugs or tickets. The Coursera page, basically, at least the task analysis, this is something that it looks. So there's a user, there's an ML system, and there's a task. When it comes to my particular project, these are the user. The user is a project manager or anybody who's interested to know or use the tool. The task is predict the time spent on bugs, failures, and tickets. So when my user interface will be a web page, and the web page will basically have some or more, for example, these kinds of data. For example, the project name can be XYZ, the team size at all locations, including development, test, system test, whoever be the case, UX, product management, everybody, it's around 400. Start date of the project, the date or the duration of the project is very important because the longer the duration, the higher the problems are. So it started in 2017. The number of locations that the project is supported on, we all 5. We all live in a global world. So pretty much every project that I work with has always been in multiple global countries. So in this particular use case, it's India, China, Germany, Israel, and USA. The tools used. We use a majority of set of tools. So in this particular example, I gave Jira, Rally, Confluence, and Slack. Type of project. Projects are usually just software or hardware plus software. So since I come from the mobile world, I just picked hardware and software because that's where it is. Number of requirements. Number of requirements in this particular use case I put as 50,000. Number of test cases, the number of lines of code, the code from platform. So every company usually has a platform. So if I take my previous company, which is Motorola, we had a platform team and a product team. The product team worked directly with the customers, and the platform team was either based on Android or an in-house system. So the platform had more features, and the customer programs would pick from those platforms. So the platform also contributes a lot to the product. So we need to know whether there's a platform and whether that's being used. So that's why I meant code from platform. The number of merge requests, every day engineers put in hundreds and hundreds of merge requests. So how much code is being coming into the system, or how much code is there in the system on top of the platform? In a way, has the code been reviewed? This is a yes and no answer. Number of rejections from code review. So how many times has a code review been rejected because of some problems, and what is basically to understand what is the quality of the code reviews. In a way, has the code been unit tested and have they been fixed? Number of issues fixed from unit test. So to understand the quality of unit test, this number is very much needed. Static code analysis. Has static code analysis been done, or has it been fixed? Number of issues that static code analysis has fixed. Feature development time, number of subdomains or teams. So this is a small sample of the data or the features that need to be collected for a certain project, for the project that I'm thinking on. Now, user experience design. So the tool or the model will have a web page as a front end with data in the server or the cloud. User will enter information needed in a form like I mentioned above. The web page will have proper guidelines and will gently guide the user to enter the right data. The user will be able to save his record for submission later and also be given an option to enter tools info so the system can query for the data on behalf of the user. For example, as you know, Zira saves a whole lot of information. If the right information is given, as you know, Zira has estimates and time spent and all of those things. We can query, we will add the option of querying the data directly from the tools that are available once all the information is given. In terms of transparency, the page will give the user an option to check what other teams are using this tool, how accurate or inaccurate the predictions are. The model that was used to come up with the prediction will be also be shown to the user. Contact details will also be provided to the user if he needs to contact the development team for this model. When communicating results, past results along with the percentage of accuracy will be presented to the user so she or he knows how much they can rely on the predicted results. When it comes to predict privacy conditions, the data collected will eventually map to a certain team or an engineer or a certain location or a certain piece of code. We will know at various levels who is contributing to the issue. This data cannot be used to penalize a team or an engineer. How to keep this information out of the model/prediction will be a challenge, because senior management is always very much interested in this kind of data based on my past experience. But this is the data that shouldn't be made open to public and stigmatize people and things like that. This metric or data on who is contributed more should be there, but it should not be used to penalize. Data will include names and or IDs of engineers, so this is personally identifiable data. In terms of laws regarding the personally applicable data, rights of individuals, control of information cycle laws will be coming in. Management of PI will be applicable in this particular use case. Also, please note that projects are global and are run out of multiple countries at the same time. This needs to be taken into consideration as well. For example, Germany laws are much stricter than the US laws. So these things need to be taken into consideration when we are showing the reports and sharing the information with everybody else. Ethical considerations. This one I really struggled with. This is a hard one. We cannot assume the data is biased because the data that we have collected from the older system was not collected for the basis of an ML project. So there might be lots of gaps in the data when we are trying to come up with the model. So for example, when we ask or we get the information of the older project from the older teams, some teams put it in the system, some teams don't put it in the system. And there is always, I've noticed that some teams are not very honest with the information they put in. So if we run into such a use case, there might be a team A, which has put all the data into the system. So we know exactly what they have fixed, but there can be another team which did not simply put in the data to show higher metrics. So we do not want to penalize the team A and show that team B is doing better than team A and things like that. So this is something that we have to take into consideration. Fairness. How do we normalize data is something we have to keep in mind. For example, a larger project running for many years will have more issue than a short-term one, which is a few weeks old or months old. But at the same time, we cannot convert everything into a percentage and use it. Because for larger project, there's a lot of team movement, team attrition. So all of these things come into picture and they have to be taken into consideration. All of these size, location need to be taken into consideration to ensure fairness across different projects. Accountability. The web interface will also have a form to collect feedback so the dev team can be notified if there are issues with performance, functional, ethical, or otherwise. Transparency. Results will be available for all users irrespective of grade or position. This will ensure that there is no hiding of info and show the importance of the project, and also hopefully motivate project managers and senior management to customize it to their individual needs. I'm sorry I went a little way over the allotted 5 minutes, but it was really hard for me to break it down into a smaller presentation. Thank you for your time. Thank you.